Hey guys, today I'm going to show you one of the craziest chess games you have ever seen. The year is 2008 and the strongest chess engine on the planet is called Rybka. For the past several years, computers have been beating human grandmasters in chess in a brutal way, humiliating them. For example, Hydra, the previous top chess engine, beat Michael Adams, one of the top 5, top 10 grandmasters in the world, 5.5 to 0.5. So Michael scored just one draw in 6 games, and that was a much weaker engine than Rybka. So Rybka is dominating. Rybka is rated around 3,200 ELO points. But Hikaru Nakamura, who was a bit younger at the time, but still was a legend and an online blitz legend, and had a rating of around 2,700 ELO, challenged Rybka and managed to win a game without any odds, just straight up win against the all-powerful computer. Nobody thought it's possible. Nobody could defeat Rybka, but Hikaru managed to do that in almost 300 moves. It was a crazy game. He exploited some bugs in the programming of Rybka, and I will show you how he did it. It was all played online in Blitz on the ICC chess platform. It's like chess.com of the 2000s. No longer existing, but everybody played on ICC back then. So let's begin. Rybka tries to humiliate Hikaru probably with its first move, g4, the grab opening, which is not the best move. You can see the evaluation of Stockfish, that Stockfish says it's a bad move. I don't know why Rybka played this, but still, even with the grab, it should easily beat any grandmaster in the world. Hikaru responds with d5. The idea is opening up the bishop's attack on the pawn, on the g4 pawn. There are some interesting lines here where white sacrifices this pawn and black captures and white goes c4, and there are some complications. It's an interesting gambit, but Rybka does not do that. Rybka just goes h3, protecting the pawn. Hikaru pressures the pawn with h5, g5 is played, and here he plays g6, which is maybe not the best move. Here Stockfish says that e5 is the strongest, occupying the center, taking the center with 2 pawns. But Hikaru adheres to his strategy. He wants a closed position, because engines back then and even now don't necessarily understand, they lack chess understanding. So they can calculate many moves ahead, but they don't necessarily understand what to do when the position is closed, when there are no pawn breaks. And that's exactly what Hikaru was trying to do. This is called anti-computer chess. And back then, it was more effective than today. Against Stockfish, maybe it will not work. But against Rybka, you will see what he did. He played g6, and he tried to close the position with c6, with bishop f5, and now e6. You see this pawn chain from here to b7, all pawns are on the white square. The only pawn on the black square is this one. And he allows exchange of the knight for the bishop, because white's light square bishop does not have any good squares, and these pawns counteract it in a very effective way. So bishop f4, knight e7. Remember, this is all blitz, so not all moves are top engine choice, and even not all Rybka's moves are the choice of top engines of today, because Rybka is 3,200 rated and Stockfish currently is 3,700 rated, I think. So Stockfish would demolish Rybka, but Rybka demolished everyone back then. So rook e8, some standard maneuvers, knight rotates to a different square to e6, and Rybka also closes the position, controls dark squares very effectively. So they maneuver some more, maneuver, and here Hikaru kicks back the bishop and puts his pawn on a6, indicating that maybe he wants to attack Rybka on this side of the board. But the position just closes down. He doesn't open up the position, because otherwise that would be quite dangerous for him. He just maneuvers back and forth, and Rybka itself closes down the position. Okay, now some more maneuvers. This pawn was attacked, so it had to be defended. Now maneuvering, and Rybka decides to exchange the bishop for the knight. Well, the position is dead equal. Nobody can break through. You see, when you evaluate positions, you should look for pawn breaks, always. Who has the pawn breaks? Black has this pawn break, but it's not a good move because this will open up the attack on its king, so this pawn break doesn't work. All other pawns see each other. They stare at each other. They cannot do anything. White can... c5 also is a bad move because white will take this pawn. So white has also two pawn breaks, e4 and c4, but both those squares are controlled by a couple of pawns, and that would be just futile, useless sacrifice of a pawn. So nobody can break through. They should agree to a draw. But Rybka is more powerful, and its programming says that you should win at all costs. Against a lower-rated opponent, you do not agree to a draw. You try to somehow trick him or her. So that's what Rybka is trying to do here. Rybka is maneuvering with the king, is building a stronger pawn chain. The bishop is nicely located here, but still it cannot do anything. Still, those pawn breaks are impossible. So Rybka maneuvers, Hikaru maneuvers. He has pre-moved many of those moves to gain time. So they both maneuver, nothing happens. Maybe there will be a draw, threefold repetition. But something happens around move 60. This is the 60th move. You see, Hikaru moved his rook to e6, allowing a fork, an attack on both the queen and the rook. So Rybka did that and took the rook. Now Rybka has a rook for a knight. Two-pawn advantage. You can see that here, +2, two-pawn advantage. But the evaluation by Stockfish has not changed a lot. It's +0.58, but it's because Stockfish also does not really understand the position. It's closed. White can do nothing. Both those pawn breaks will lead to nothing. So it's a dead draw. You can just stand idly, do nothing, both sides, and nothing will happen. So let's see what happens next. They both shuffle, they shuffle, they shuffle. Every day I'm shuffling. They shuffle, 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 shuffle. Nothing happens. Move 75, move 80, move 85, move 90, and probably, you know, there is a chess rule. If for 50 moves nothing happens on the board and no pawn moves and there are no captures, it's a draw. So probably this all is heading towards a draw because 50 moves, nobody takes no material, no pawn moves, a draw is declared automatically. But we will see. You see this funny king maneuver by Hikaru. He just walks around his kingdom, looking at his servants, what they do, how they are faring. And in the meantime, it's move 107, 110, and Hikaru gives up another rook. He just allows the taking of his rook. Why? Because whenever you evaluate a position where a rook is opposing a minor piece, such as a bishop and a knight, you should look at the quality of rooks. Can the rook be exploited in a way that makes us feel the power of the rook? Going up and down the board, back and forth, infiltrating. For example, can this rook be teleported to this square? That would be great achievement for white. Or both rooks, one here, the other here. Can it happen? No, because the pawns prevent it. So the rook is no use. It's no use. He just takes and then he plants his knight here and no pawn breaks. No pawn breaks whatsoever. So the computer Stockfish says it's not the best move, but it's on low depth. It's a great move. Formally, it's +4 pawns advantage for white because white has two rooks for a bishop and a knight. But the rooks cannot be used. Nothing can be done by white. It's still a dead draw. Stockfish now says it's +1, but if you let it run on higher depth, it will not find any win because there is none. You can do nothing. So move 112. We wait. The king is maneuvered to different side of the board. Nothing's happening. And the king marches up and allows this pin by white. So white has now forced queen trade. Okay, says Hikaru. They trade. It's okay. Even though Stockfish says it's +2, Stockfish will not win this. Because how to win this? You don't have any pawn breaks. The only pawn break you have is this, but it will just get taken. And then if this will just get taken. Nothing to write home about. Rooks are powerless. They are not effective against such a formation. All pawns are on the white squares, by the way, and here all pawns are on the dark squares. Very, very beautiful, I would say, geometry. So they both maneuver, it's move 130. You see where it's going, right? So Rybka does not want a draw at all cost. Well, not at all cost. It will not resign, obviously, but it wants to create some complications. And in the meantime, it's move 155, and soon 50 moves will pass and a draw will be declared unless some pawn moves. So while Rybka is up material, it believes that the position is better for Rybka. So this was the 49th move, I think. So had Rybka moved its king like here, for example, it would be an official draw. But Rybka declined that. Rybka said, I'll try to play for a win. Well, it didn't say anything, but it thought it, probably. I don't know. Do you think that artificial intelligence has consciousness, agency? Are you afraid of AI? Write it in the comments. It's a very interesting topic. So, it moved the pawn to c4, still it's a dead draw. You can put the king, for example, here, or you can just stand here and do nothing, put the rook here and go rook g1, rook h1, rook g1, rook h1. Black will do nothing. c3, I'll just take. It doesn't matter. But Rybka is trying a different approach. Rybka is protecting this pawn with the king and with the rook. So if you take 2 times, I will just be up a rook on h3. So that's not something that is a good idea. And here, Rybka makes a mistake. In time trouble, computers start playing worse. I've seen, I think, Andrew Tang, the hyper-bullet legend, I think he has defeated some chess engines with 15 seconds against 15 seconds because they don't have enough time to process the information. So here, a similar thing happens. Rybka has not enough time, and it doesn't see the move king g4, which is winning for black, as Stockfish says. King g4 attacks the rook, rook goes back, then king f3, attacking this square, and this rook, if it guards this pawn, then this falls. So this pawn falls, then this pawn, and this pawn falls, and it's winning for black. But you know what Hikaru does? He doesn't do king g4. He doesn't go king g4, because he's probably afraid of counterplay that will happen after this happens, and I don't know, check. And if he takes, there's like this check, and maybe in future this pawn might be taken, and like this, and rooks may infiltrate. He doesn't want to calculate any of that. He just says, okay, I'm standing idly, and Rybka makes another mistake. It doesn't want rook g3 and draw repetition, so it tries to rotate the king, and here Hikaru just takes the b4 pawn. Rybka has gone crazy, probably because of lack of time. He just moves back and forth, gives up another pawn, and you see where this is headed. The pawns are marching down. They cannot be stopped. The king still is on f4. It could be activated, but Hikaru doesn't need that. He is just pre-moving advancement of the pawns to destroy white's king. And here, white desperately tries to hold on, blocks with its rook. But Hikaru just stands, waits, and here he takes the rook. But do you know how this? Maybe you've seen this game. It's a legendary game. But if you have never seen this game, don't click away. The ending is hilarious. So Hikaru not just defeated the engine. He did it in style. So he took all the pawns. He marched all his pawns down the board. He took the rook, then he marched all other pawns down the board, and he under-promoted 2 bishops and 2 knights. Then he gave up 1 knight, he gave up the other knight, he promoted to the 6th bishop. Have you ever seen 6 bishops on the board? It's like Catholic party, I don't know. So check, he gives up one of the bishops, he just needs 5, I don't know why. Maybe this is his idea of the ideal setup for checkmating. So have you ever studied the famous checkmate with 5 bishops? I haven't, because it's not famous. You can checkmate with 2 bishops, that's enough. But Hikaru wants to, I don't know, create some art on the board, artistry. So he maneuvers his bishops around the board. He tries to create some interesting formation on the board. Okay, now the white king is trapped, and finally, this is the checkmate. The move is 271, and the human has defeated the machine. What do you think about this game? Write your comments.